all three of those views, guys, the intercondylar fossa, even though we're doing stuff with the tube, they're all considered perpendicular central rays, which is a little different than what we've talked about in the past, but that's unique to those tunnel views, all three of those tunnel views. So where will that enter? The knee joint half an inch below the patellar apex. And what's the star of our show again, guys? We're still on that intercondylar fossa. So three ways of doing the exact same view, just three different alternatives there. Choose whichever one you like the best. You very rarely will ever see these done, especially on adults. If you're going to pediatrics like me, you'll see these more often ordered because they can use it to check for abuse cases. Very rare x-ray that barely comes in. It's by special request of the doctor.
I saw in the procedure book for bone clinic that they have a like special asterisk, I think it's called, for UT doctors. It says UT physicians prefer this view. Is that because they're taught only that view?
It's what they like.
Okay.
One thing you'll see, guys, especially when you start shopping around for jobs, you go look at different facilities, every set of doctors has their own preferred protocols that they're going to put in the protocol books. So you're going to have to make those adjustments to please those particular doctors. Especially if you ever go to pediatrics, every single pediatric doctor has a different protocol they like. It can be a nightmare. They have their own books set up. Here's what Dr. Kahn likes. Here's what Dr. Braverman likes. Here's what Dr. Meathead likes, whatever. They all have their own specific needs and wants, and you have to match those for them. Yeah, Dr. Meathead, I don't speak about Dr. Meathead anymore. I don't think he even works there anymore. That was my chosen name for him. Okay, so a lot of evaluation criteria, guys. Once again, the one I want you to focus on, what is the star of our show? Opening up that intercondylar fossa, getting that nice, beautiful train tunnel, nice tunnel view. Once again, if you're looking at just x-rays, you can't deduce which method it is because all three look almost exactly the same. But if we can see a picture of the actual position of the patient, that's when we can actually determine what exact method we're utilizing. Keep that in mind. You might just see that on your test on Monday. Know what the positions look like. Hint, hint. Knock on wood. Gold star question. Whatever method works for you. Got that?
Repeat that. Repeat that. Sorry, I was writing.
I said, make sure you know what the actual positions look like. You know how to identify the method.
Wait. So we are gonna have to know the difference between the three of you?
In other words, if you see a picture like this,
Oh, that. Okay.
no, that's the declare method.
Okay.
That's not as much as I can say. All right, so the last things we're going to talk about, guys, we actually do have specific patella views. That's going to be the PA, the lateral, and then our tangential views, known as the Senegast and the merchant view. Now, let me tell you right now, I have never seen this one, or this one done, but I see this one all the time because they often order that third bullet point with all their knee protocols, no matter where you go. I've never seen a PA patella, I've never seen a lateral patella, I've especially never seen a merchant patella, but they still exist as part of the curriculum. We got to talk about them. Now, the reason they're never going to do these is because you basically can just get the exact same views on a knee. So it's going to do a knee x-ray anyway and add that tangential sunrise view. By the way, Senegast, the layman's terms, is what we call a sunrise view. Sunrise, y'all heard sunrise? Mm-hmm. Y'all have done those in the lab, right? Senegast? Yes. Did you learn both methods, the PA and the AP?
Yes.
Good. So we're going to talk about each of those. Let's start with the PA patella, which you're never going to see, you're never going to do, even though you're doing it in the lab as well. This will be a prone position. Now, I can tell you right now, one of the reasons, think about this for a second. I'm surprised this even still exists in the curriculum. You know, if someone comes in with a fractured kneecap, the last thing you want to do is have them lay on the kneecap. It just seems stupid to me. But yeah, there you go. You can do it. Because the kneecap's already sensitive enough as is. If it's broken half, yeah, good luck getting the patient to do this for you. It's probably not going to happen. Anyway, if you are lucky to have someone cooperate and do this, you're going to put the leg in a nice PA position with the heel rotated 5 to 10 degrees to put that patella superimposed properly over the femur. You do need to rotate that heel slightly. This will be a perpendicular central ray to that mid-popliteal area. Fancy way of saying the back of the knee. Popliteal area. I like that word, popliteal. It's a fun little word. And of course, you're going to heavily collimate because we're not so concerned with the knee anymore, just the patella. So you can afford that really tight, close collimation on those. PA patella. The most pointless exams in the world, if you ask me. You really can't even see it that much better than you would for a regular knee.
Would this position also, would it showcase fractures on the inside of like the intercondylar space more easily as well, or no?
It looks just like a. You'll see.
It literally looks
So
just
like an AP knee?
It just looks like a collimated knee.
I think you have a picture on the next slide.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Oh, good. Am I going too fast? Talking too 10, so I might be talking too fast. Tell me to put on the brakes. Yeah, there you go, guys. As you can see, it doesn't look much different than a knee. It really doesn't. Thus, once again, one of those pointless exams in existence, if you ask me. But it does exist. You can see on this picture there is a nice little fracture there. I mean, once again, if this is the case, guys, good luck getting that PA. It's probably not going to happen. They're not going to order that anyway. They're just going to do a knee series. But what do we want to see? Well, supposedly, according to the curriculum, it's going to improve that spatial resolution over the AP. In my experience, it does not make that much of a difference at all. But because you are putting the part closer to the IR, it naturally would, by theory, improve the spatial resolution, make it much more clear. We of course want that nice tight collimation. We do still want the patella completely superimposed by the femur. Unless it's dislocated, it's off to the side. No rotation. Of course, good detail on that image. What do y'all notice about this x-ray, by the way? What do y'all see very clearly on this x-ray? Some things we talked about before.
The growth plate.
It's the growth plate, so it's a pediatric patient, right? See the growth plates? Those are not fractures. Those are growth plates. Have y'all seen any of that in clinic yet? No one's done any pediatrics at all. They come in every once in a while, especially with
Bone age
kids.
the other day. I had a bone age.
Bone age with the hands?
Yeah, and he
Easiest
was so
X-ray on the
cute.
face of the earth.
Yeah, he was just shaking because he was freezing, and I touched him, and oh, he was so cool. I feel so bad.
Did you give him a blanket?
Huh?
Did you give him a
No, he
blanket?
got that shield.
No more blankets?
They don't have blankets in
Oh,
Melbourne.
that's
You
right.
Oh yeah, they got those.
You got sheets though.
Yeah, they have no. It's no. It's the paper.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, the
paper
paper
sheets.
Where I used to work, we had in every room we had
You
a
didn't see
heater
that,
unit with warm
you didn't see
blankets
that
in it. So we always like
paper
warm blankets.
sheets.
I walked around with warm
Regular
blankets all day.
No,
I
they
was
got sheets.
wrapped up in that
Regular
blanket.
sheets. But in strawberry they have paper sheets.
That's what.
Strawberry has paper sheets.
Warm blankets are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of bone age, so bone age, if you don't know what that is, it's really just a PA hand and wrist, one-shot x-ray. They do that to check the growth plates, specifically on children that aren't developing right. This guy I used to work with, his name was Russell Grizzler, hilarious guy. He's like, man, when I retire, I swear, I'm opening up a bone age clinic. It's all I'm gonna do is just hand x-rays all day. Just line them up, boom, 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 boom. That's my $1 million idea. We're gonna open up a bone age clinic. You wanna work there? I said, yes, I'm the easiest place to work on the earth. It's like working at a chest x-ray clinic. Anyway, lateral patella, guys, done very similar to our lateral knee, but one clear difference from the knee, and write this down, is that we're not going to utilize angulation anymore. So we have perpendicular central ray, and of course we're going to center differently because the star of our show is now the patella. Thus, we're going to be putting our centering at that patellofemoral joint. We are going to flex that extremity, place it on the affected side. Even though you see this patient relax like so, if you're going to do this x-ray that you're never actually going to do, you would bring this leg over the affected leg, just like the lateral knee. It's going to give you a much better lateral view. Yes?
I asked Mr. Fawn about that yesterday in lab. He told us no.
I told you no on what?
About bringing the leg over.
Mr. Fung doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Mr. Fung on that.
Yeah, he was like, no.
So me and Mr. Fung debate on that all the time. He does not like doing that, but I'm gonna tell you he's wrong because it does look better. when you bring the
Yeah,
leg
because
over.
when you
It
do
really
that, you
does.
can kind of like rotate the hips and stuff, and
But
that
you have
kind
to
of
make
helps.
sure they're right on top of each other. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's easier to like slide it.
Yeah, but he was like, no. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's a personal preference, but I can tell you right now, on my experience of doing 1 million of these, bring that leg over will give you beautiful laterals every time, combined with your angle. But it's personal preference. You got both options. Mr. Fung likes to keep the leg relaxed.
Have you ever worked in like been taught in those?
I haven't worked at Benton, I worked at Texas Children's.
Yeah, because I was gonna say he probably works with those the people, this, you know, those patients.
It's harder for them to
A
move.
little bit different.
A little bit.
A little different.
A lot bit.
Have you ever done x-rays on kids?
No.
A lot bit.
I can tell you right now, they're 100,000 times more challenging
Oh,
than that.
yeah, oh, for sure. They're probably a little bit more flexible than those old people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's personal preference, guys, but take it from me, it works better than leg over. Trust me. You're gonna optimize those laterals almost 100% of the time. Flex that knee 5 to 10 degrees. That's gonna reduce the patellofemoral joint space. And of course, we want that patella nice and perpendicular, or in profile, as we say sometimes as well. True lateral is also been called putting the patella in profile. So perpendicular central ray at that mid patellofemoral joint. And what are we looking at, guys? What's the start of the show once again? Patella and that patellofemoral joint space nicely opened, which we see right here. But does it look much different than a knee? It basically is a knee, guys. It's just, thus why we're just going to do a knee x-ray. So, can you see that there's no angle, by the way? See how that condyl's dipping down again? That's always that clear indication there's no angulation on the tube. So I'm curious, does Miss Bonilla do the leg over or the leg relax?
Yeah.
She does the leg over. She knows what's up. we got to help Mr. Fong out.
Yeah, help them out.
They said
I
they
can
got
see
some
him
people
saying
that
that
been
with his
talking
chest,
with
too.
Betsy Bethel, Mr. Fong is a superstar over there.
Oh, he is.
That
He
Wilson
is.
line?
Wilson.
All right, evaluation criteria, guys. We want that knee flex 5 to 10 degrees, patella in the lateral profile, and of course, once again, the open patellofemoral joint space, which we almost do not have here, but it is still barely open. By the way, top of the patella is the what? Bottom is the. Thank you, and I almost called you Anthony. Thank
Oh.
you.
I know I called him Anthony this morning.
It happens all
It's
the
because y'all are
time.
always hanging out together. It's like y'all just bonding, becoming one person.
You're just blending in.
They're blending into one
It
person.
happens all the time.
Are we still writing, guys? I'm sorry.
We're still-
We good? All right, let's go over some of those tangential views, guys. Now, we have the tangential patella, the Setagas. Now, this is funny, 'cause this is one thing me and Mr. Fong differ as well. He prefers this method here.
Ooh.
This is your superior method, though, I'm telling you. You'll get these beautiful sunrises with this bottom method versus the top, in my personal opinion. I feel like you get more sunsets than sunrises on this one, personally. Yeah, I can tell it's going from the sunset to the sunrise. All right, but you can use both options, guys. Depending on the situation. Also as well, guys, you know, once again, if a person comes in with knee pain, both aren't going to be very comfortable, but good luck getting them to cooperate on this, especially if the knees, like the knee or the patella's dislocated. Yeah, not happening. Not much more cooperation here, guys. Just personal experience from doing a million of these. By the way, that's all they would let us do with the facility I work as well. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna slowly flex the knee as much as possible or until the patella is perpendicular to IR. So what you're gonna do is, guys, you're gonna have the patient prone with this first method, slightly bend the knees so that foot's out of the way. We are gonna utilize an angulation on this method. Versus the supine method, this is gonna follow that same rule that we talked about with those tunnel views. Now this is where it can get confusing. So we have the knee flexed and an angulation on the IR in the PA method. This is a 15 to 20 degree angulation, but down here, this is gonna be a perpendicular central ray. What's the difference?
The IR is like flat on the top.
The key difference is for this one, we're not matching the angle of the parts, but this one we are. So we're adjusting the ray to match the angle of the part on the bottom version versus the top, we are not doing so. Therefore, the PA method utilizes a 15 to 20 degree cephalic angle, but the bottom method utilizes a perpendicular central ray. It can get a little confusing, but do make note of that. Those are different.
So if you were to ask that on a test, would you
It depends if I'm asking about the PA or the supine method.
would like specify?
Yes, yes I would. Now, yeah, go ahead.
It's hard.
Prone has, when they're laying prone
Prone has a cephalic angle, but the supine or sitting has a perpendicular central ray. All right, why do we do this tangential method, guys, key point right here, to rule out transverse fractures of patella. I'm sorry, we don't do this until we rule out transverse fractures of patella. So if you do take an AP or lateral, and you notice that the patella is severely fractured, guys, you're actually not gonna do this. Also, if you notice that the patella is dislocated, you're typically not gonna do this. You're gonna ask the doctor what they want to proceed with, because you obviously cause further injury to the patient if you force them into one of these positions. All right, so central ray, make note once again, guys, I didn't put this in the notes very well, but based on what I just told you guys, the PA method does utilize a 15 to 20 degrees cephalic angle, but the supine or seated method uses a perpendicular central ray. Key difference between the two. Just a little adjustments here. If that space is not perpendicular to the IR, you are required to use the angle, but you're basically just going to use the angle every time anyway. Angle depends on the amount of knee flexion. Reason why, because with that supine method, you're wanting to match the angle with the angle of the legs. You're trying your best to match that to the knee angle. That's something that you'll learn to eyeball as you become more experienced. So there's not an exact science to it, but you learn how to eyeball it as you get better and better. Now, another reason that by the way, it says your typical recommended angle is right here. That's what the most natural angle of the knees to look at, maybe 15 to 20 degrees. But what I will say in defense of this method, once again here, I feel like you have more room for error here versus this one. If you don't get this exact, you're gonna get a sunset. This one, you can be a little off on your angulation and still get a sunrise. It looks really nice. Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about, sunset and sunrise? Sunset's when the space is closed, sunrise is when it's separated. This one you have a lot more wiggle room versus this one has to be very exact. Plus the patient's gonna be in more discomfort, in my opinion. So this is the one you wanna go with right here. There's also some alternative methods here. I don't know why in the world you would ever try to attempt this right here. Your tube, number one, is not gonna angle that sharply at that low of a position. So I don't know what this is about. And this right here, I just say why. I mean, why not just turn them on their back? It just seems pointless to me. But other ways you can do the same thing. You're gonna get like a sideways shuffle there. I don't know what that's gonna be.
They do it on top. Like places I've been to, they have them sit down and they put the tube over top.
That's a merchant method we're about to
That's
go
a
over.
merchant, okay.
Yeah, we're about to go over
Yeah,
that
they
in just a
have that.
minute. That's usually they do that in clinics typically. Now this leads me to tell you guys, while y'all write on this next slide, by the way, I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story. But here's what you want to see, guys: a beautiful sunrise. Here's your horizon, like you're looking at the horizon. There's your sun going up above the horizon. You have that nice separation. This is closed off and going to the side. You got some sunset going on. You need to repeat that because I do need to see that patella clearly separated from the femur. You need that nice, beautiful space open. These are very pretty when you do them right. Has anyone done these in clinic yet? They always look. You think they look? I think they look pretty
Yeah.
when you do them
I
right.
like that name.
Y'all do the sitting down method or the? Yeah, it works so much better. I'm telling you, it's an awesome way to do it. So you want to see your articulating surface of the patellofemoral joints. If there's any vertical fractures of the patella, so fractures going like so, we want that patella in profile, femoral condyles, and an intercondylar sulcus, and an open patellofemoral articulation. So here's where this gets a little sticky. Because you cannot always make out the fibula here, it's very important that you put markers on these x-rays. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to tell the lateral side versus the medial side. You should be marking the lateral side, by the way, and that's kind of your only indication to tell what's lateral versus medial femoral condyles. Now, if they open it up enough, you can barely make up the fibula, but we're relying on that marker being in the right spot for these. So very important that you put the marker in the correct spot. Now, a lot of the clinics do these bilaterally. I'm sure y'all seen them do them bilateral. So you'll have the right and left markers anyway. It's a little easier to figure out the sides on that. But with a single view like this, we are pretty much very dependent on that marker being in the correct spot. Otherwise, you need to repeat that x-ray. Because the doctors can make mistakes as well. Now, while you write, let me tell you all a funny story. Y'all ready for another fun picture here? So, I'm sure y'all have had enough time to look at my terrible drawing here, but I'll give y'all another terrible drawing. So I had this patient come in the middle of the night. One night I was working night shift, and the order came in on the printout, and it was a view I'd never heard of in my life. The doctor ordered a sunrise buttocks x-ray. True story. It said sunrise buttocks. So I'm like, what? Like, did they make a typo? I mean, I know what a sunrise patella is, but sunrise buttocks? So I call the doctor up, I'm like, sir, ordered a sunrise buttocks. Can you explain to me what that is? Did you mean to order a sunrise patella? No, I want a sunrise buttocks. So you know how you guys do the sunrise patella views? I want you to kind of do the same thing, but we need the buttocks. So I'm like, why? He said, well, we have a patient who has a pencil stuck in her buttocks, and we need to see how deep the pencil is to make sure it's not rupturing the rectum. So what happened, I looked through the history, and a teenage girl went to sit in her desk at school, and some very mean kid stuck a pencil in the seat, and she sat right on top of the pencil. So the pencil was lodged in her butt, and they need to see how far or where it was located in order to see if it was puncturing or messing up the rectum, because it was very close to that area. So,
Jail time.
so here comes this patient on a stretcher, and I mean, it looks like something out of like a comedy movie. So this poor girl, she gets wheeled on the stretcher, and she's, let me see if I can draw this.
Sure you want to? This is a minor, right?
Huh? So let's see. We're going to say she's in a lot of pain, so. There. Trying to make her look like a female here. So she is basically like this. Here's her feet. She's got a sheet on top of her. But we get her in the room. I think she's like, there we go. So she's at a funny angle like this with her butt up in the air. She has a blanket on top. And of course, there's like a big protrusion here, and the pencil's holding up the blanket as well. So we removed the blanket, and sure enough, guys, I mean, there's this pencil just sticking straight up right here. Like, there's the pencil sticking out of her butt right there.
Sir. I'm sorry.
For accuracy's sake. So they want us to do a sunrise buttocks x-ray. So once again, you know, critical thinking skills is a view that does not exist. So we, well, let me ask you, how do you think you would obtain a sunrise buttocks view, just in your personal opinion? What would you do? Basically something like that.
Lateral holding a cassette.
Basically the same exact concept with the knee, right? Imagine it's a knee and not a butt. So what do?
Yeah. Crosswise, come on.
Now we put the cassette right here, and the tube right here. Shot like that. And, well, a little lower than that. Shot like here. And projected the butt and the pencil onto the IR. Just- yes,
Okay, I was like,
obviously.
I was like, oh.
This was a multi-person job. Yes. So, aside from that, they also ordered a cross-table pelvis, so we shot pelvis view through here. So, long story short, the images actually turned out really well, surprisingly. I said they should put it in a textbook, make it a new view. Probably Donahue method.
You're just
Anyway, they read the x-rays and they found out that the pencil was literally 5 centimeters from puncturing the rectum. So it like just missed the rectum, it was just on the side of it. So she was okay, they were able to remove it, but she was very lucky. So
I would have fought that person.
I always say,
I don't think she could.
guys, when you think you've seen it all, you're always going to see something new and have a new challenge, which is why I love X-ray over every modality, because X-ray is the only modality that has these opportunities to do really weird stuff that's unorthodox. You're not going to see it in CT and MRI, nuclear medicine. It's all going to be routine, but I love to be able to do creative stuff like that. It was really cool, really cool.
Yeah.
That's the sunrise buttocks story. There you go. All right.
What a Friday.
Huh?
This is what a Friday.
What a Friday. You never know what you're going to see. All right, the last view that we're going to talk about, guys, this is also, by the way, considered a tangential patella. Make note, you have a tangential patella Settegast method. Then we have a tangential patella Merchant method. Now, some of y'all may have seen a version of this in clinic, but not exact, where they do the bilateral patellas shooting through both. Same concept, guys, but we're going to use called a Merchant table. This is a Merchant table. I have never in my existence seen one of these before. I don't know if any facility actually has one of these, but apparently it exists somewhere. It's called a merchant table. It actually holds the IR, puts the legs in the exact position, and we're going to shoot between both those patella to project them bilaterally in a comparison view. We call it comparison view. So you're going to see a lot of mumbo jumbo here, guys. Main one to write down is this one right here. This is what I want you folks, I forgot to put that in red for you. Knees will be flexed 40 degrees. We're going to use 30 to 90 degrees to demonstrate various patellofemoral disorders, depending on what they look for. But main point, guys, we're flexing those knees 40 degrees. Then we're going to shoot down towards the feet, caudally, like so. Now you also notice something here. Look what's really off with this. It's not even centered to the IR. It's at the bottom. It's one of the few views that we learn X-ray when this is considered acceptable, because we have no other way of centering that unless you want to break their ankles off. As you can see, that is considered acceptable to be off center on the IR. One of the few views in X-ray where we're allowed to do so.
Oh, I was just saying the ORD is crazy.
Very much so. It really magnifies them. Not what I would call an ideal or optimal method. I always say go for the previous one instead of gas. Looks a lot better. But some clinics love to do these bilateral views, and some of y'all have seen an alternative to this. I think Jamaica was saying she saw them do something like this.
Yeah, they have them sit, yeah, sit in the chair and go.
They shoot between them?
Like a little stand and then they shoot.
Yeah. I personally do not like doing like that. I mean, it heavily magnifies it. To me, it brings the quality way down. It's just not worth it. But some doctors, protocol-wise, they want those nice comparison bilateral views. That's how you get the bilateral views, side by side.
Outpatient, they just have them sit on the chair, and then the
Yeah.
IR is on the floor.
They
and
shoot
they
down.
They just shoot down.
So that's a modified
They get
version of
their
this
knees
right
back
here.
as much as they can.
Like
Yeah,
this,
it's a
like
modified
this.
version of the merchant method.
Mhm.
All right, so with this one, once again, guys, even though we're angling the tube, we are matching the angle of the parts. Therefore, that's still going to be a perpendicular central ray. Please be careful on those. It's a perpendicular central ray, 40-degree deflection, midway between the patella at the level of the patellofemoral joint. This will be, once again, what we call a comparison view. You can see those old knobby knees like that. Those are like some really knobby knees. They're really sharp to me. But they do this for what we call comparison views. It's a bilateral view that compare the two. Mr. Donahue?
I was looking at my previous like PowerPoint, and there's like a few that do they not have to like
It's been
rotate?
removed.
Man,
I'm so sorry.
it's okay.
They do remove some of these methods that become more obsolete. I suppose some of these are going to start being removed in the next few years as well. They're becoming more and more obsolete.
Because I was looking at it and I was like, man, I remember there being a lot more stuff. And then I looked at mine and I was like, man, where's this one? Where's this? Like the Houston.
The Houston
Hobbs,
method, yeah, the Hobbs,
Rosenberg.
Rosenberg, oh, that brings back memories. Don't worry, y'all don't have to worry about those
A
anymore.
lot of places.
I'm sorry, can you go back real
All
quick?
right, so main points on the merchant, guys. What are we looking at? A bilateral tangential image of the patellae and the patellofemoral joints. We want non-distorted patellae as much as possible. It says with slight magnification, but there's going to be a lot of magnification. Let's be serious here. But, I mean, you can really tell. Look how super open these look. Let's do that magnification. That's what these ones look really, really open. They usually don't look this pretty either.
They don't.
But star of the show, open patellofemoral articulation with a nice sunrise over that horizon. You see right there. Okay, so y'all ready to talk about the femur?
I think so, we want to-
Not today.
Yeah, me either. I'm not in the mood. So we're gonna skip over the femur.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
not until next chapter.
I was like, I remember this.
It was part of this PowerPoint, but we're gonna add that on the next chapter. So don't worry, we're skipping over the femur stuff. All right, so now we're in the review section,
excited
guys.
for
We're gonna
this.
review some, do some challenge questions here, and then Nick is gonna give you guys a quiz.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready to
So I think he made some really sneaky questions for y'all. He's being a sneaky boy like Gio.
Don't do
It's
it.
probably due for the
Anthony?
test.
Knees and
we'll see what
Another
happens here.
So he was done.
All right, let's go through these guys real quickly before we take our first break. What is the projection and anatomy that we're looking at here?
I'm giving you guys Donahue's questions here.
AP axial. AP axial.
No.
What is it, guys?
Good question.
Good question. What are we looking at?
No, look at the joint spaces.
AP axial foot. Why is it not toes, guys? Because we can see the tarsal bones clearly. It's AP axial foot. AP axial foot.
So you don't need to see the calcaneus?
Not on the AP, just the oblique and lateral. What's that? No, it's just slanted on the cassette. Yeah, if it was medial, guys, if it's an oblique, you're gonna see the entire foot with the calcaneus. It's a clue as well. On the AP axial, you will not see the calcaneus or the talus really. You're just gonna see navicular and up.
Is this an optimal APX with
Aside from the digital marker, it's pretty close to it, yes. Yes. Oh, killed the turd.
Huh?
the femur?
Oh, shit.
Okay. What is this, guys? This is something we did not talk about, but this is a
B as
lateral
in
distal
boy.
femur.
Yeah.
Lateral distal femur. Let's skip that one. What is this right here, guys? This is a great demo image. What are we looking at?
That is a lateral. No, lateral oblique.
Lateral.
Yeah, yeah. AP is lateral.
Brad, how do we know it's a lateral rotation? Patella's toward the lateral side, but what else do we see, guys? Superimposed tip fib. That's a very clear indication of a lateral rotation. So AP oblique, the lateral rotation.
Bonus points. What
What is this?
Toes, there's a B as in boy.
AP axial toes.
How do we know it's an AP axial toe?
Joint spaces. It dips.
Because you see those very open dip, pips. That's the clear indication, guys. These joints are very open, therefore it's AP axial. If they were more closed off, it's going to be AP. But you can almost always guarantee, guys, that's your answer because that's the optimal ideal view anyway. AP axial toes. Make note of that, even though we talked about bows, the optimized view is always AP axial on toes and foot. That's something else we didn't talk about. What do y'all think that is?
That's a proximal femur.
AP or lateral?
That's
Lateral. The way we know that, guys, is because what's in profile is what we call the lesser trochanter. But we'll get to that next semester.
I didn't know that.
I thought you said, oh my gosh, I knew it. Like,
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
all right, next one. What is that?
That's AP oblique toes. No, it's lateral.
No.
No, it's an oblique.
AP oblique toes. How do we know it's AP oblique toes?
The position of the first, the hallux.
You can look at the metatarsals.
One really easy way to tell, too, guys, is with those sesame
Oh,
joints. That's a really good indication it's oblique. But also, with an oblique, guys, you're gonna have all 5 toes on there. Lateral, they're gonna look more what? Superimposed.
Right.
Superimposed. All right. What is that?
The tangential set of guys.
Very good. Obviously, tangential set of gas, also called the sunrise view. And that should not say lateral patella there. That was a misprint. Sorry.
That would have been
Tangential patella.
the lateral patella was C or D.
Yeah, they got superimposed on each other. All right, something we didn't talk about, but what is that?
A.
Proximal femur.
No, distal. I'm sorry, distal.
Yes,
Distal
that's
femur.
AP distal femur. AP distal femur. All right. What is
That's
this
actually
one?
what it shows as a pocket guide. It says leg.
That is a C. No, let me see. It is,
What?
it's a tip
No.
fib, so it's A.
AP leg.
AP leg or AP tip fib. Remember,
that's what you
it
that's what
can
I
be
got.
called AP leg and or AP tip fib. Those are both synonymous with one another.
No, Mr.
leg
Mr.
yesterday,
Fun
and
calls it
Mr.
the
Fun
tip
was
bit.
like,
Yeah, I call it tip
which
tip.
leg? And I'm like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you meant like his
B
femur or
is
his
in
leg.
boy.
And I was like, your leg. Like,
Meryl's does call it leg, but it does.
He knows that.
I think he's just testing us, like with the imagery.
Sometimes Mr. Fong defaults back to Bontrager. He grew up on Bontrager, and Bontrager calls it differently.
But
All right, what is this, guys?
B is in boy.
Well, why is it not?
It's A. No.
Why is it
No.
not?
It's kind of made it too small.
We're cutting off a large portion of it, right? Yeah. So it's gonna be a lateral patella. Correct. All right, what about that one? Let's give you a thumbs up.
That's a great. Is C? No, it's not C. It's D is in dog.
Lateral.
That's gonna be a lateral great toe. Correct. Toe giving a thumbs up. All right, something we did not review, but what is this? Just for a
B
preview
is in
next
boy.
chapter.
B is in boy.
B is in boy, you are correct, because one thing for the AP femur that is in profile is the greater trochanter that we see right here.
is that pathology or is that
Right here, yes it is. That's a
both?
cancerous spot on the bone. All right, what is this, ladies and gentlemen?
lateral?
For a female?
Lateral foot, correct.
Your leg.
Lateral foot.
The right?
What about this one?
C.
Plantar dorsal. Yeah.
Planto-dorsal axial calcaneus. What is the angulation for this exam? 40 degrees, correct. Make sure you remember that full name for that exam. What is this, by the way? No, it is not.
Oh, that's a cyst.
Glad you
That's a
said that.
cyst.
That's a common mistake.
Sus. What? How to remember?
Remember, guys, remember, I asked that for a reason. The sus is on the curvy side. That's the medial aspect. The tuberosity of the fifth metatarsal is actually going to be up here. It's okay. I'm glad you said that. It's a very common mistake. Oh, what is this one? So once again, yes, make note, guys, they're not going to ask you the method, it's just a radiograph. But if you see the actual position, you need to know what the methods are. Does that make sense? Yeah, pictures of how the body is positioned, yes. PA axial intercondylar fossa. Oh, see, I just told you that. This is indeterminate. This is indeterminate. I'm sorry. That should have been a picture of body of the position. I apologize. I made a mistake. That was supposed to be the Kemp Coventry. But what's the Kemp Coventry? What's the Kemp Coventry? What's the aspect of Kemp Coventry y'all remember? One part is elevated, the other part is.
Oh, 90 degrees? No.
Is the tip
Are you first off? Are you supine or prone?
Prone.
Prone. So the femur is
Yeah.
flat and the tip fib is elevated. Correct. Sorry about that. What is this one right here?
PA patella.
That will be a PA patella. Correct. Correct. Because of this extremely tight collimation, and really, what you depend on to determine that guy's that super tight collimation on the patella. If it was more open, it would be a AP. What about this pretty thing here?
It's a lateral calcaneus.
Good, lateral calcaneus. This one here. Now these are the ones you gotta watch out for. What is this?
That
This is
is
the oblique.
medial rotation.
This is just a regular opening.
Regular oblique.
Sure.
You right.
Closely.
You right. That was AP ankle. You right. It's a superimposed photo.
Ortiz joint, everything is open.
Yes, definitely.
You would see it. I think it was days.
I just
Is
thought
it
it was.
A sheet?
I thought it was medially rotated.
It's a trick
Yeah, but that's an
It's not a
AP
trick
ankle.
question, just look closely.
That's an AP ankle. It looks like that's what I did earlier.
So first off, we can do some elimination here, guys. First off, is the entire joint space open?
No.
It is not, so we eliminate which answer.
C.
So let's look at letter B for a second. If I'm doing a regular 45-degree oblique, what needs to be opened? specifically?
The lateral.
The lateral portion of the joint, correct? So is that open? It is not. So we know it's not a lateral ankle. What's the only thing it can be? AP ankle. We can also look at the foot down here. Is the foot rotated anyway? It is not. Key aspect of letter B, guys, is that this joint space here will be opened up.
You said D.
Mortise, of course, the entire joint space will be opened up. But for the AP, the tib fib, the lateral side here is superimposed. You will not see this open joint. You'll only see these portions right here on an AP. So be careful on that.
The lateral ankle would be,
It'll look like a lateral foot, just the ankle.
Yeah.
Just collimated.
so
It'll look like
Like
this
that.
right here. That'll be a lateral ankle there, guys. Looks very close to a lateral calcaneus. Key aspect is that we're putting more than tib fib on there.
Adolescent.
So lateral ankle. What is this one, guys?
Is that supposed to be?
That's the medial.
Look closely. Look at what's open and what's closed.
Well, I mean, you can see the foot's rotated, like, it looks like it's rotated quite a bit to the medial side.
That's one indication, yes. Second indication that B is the correct answer, by the way. Second indication is we do see the lateral side of that ankle joint open, but what's starting to close off? The superior and medial aspects. Therefore, that's going to be the medial rotation, not Mortise. Mortise will have the entire joint opened. Make sense? So it's a medial 45-degree open rotation. By the way, what is the CR angulation for this X-ray? There is none, correct. Don't let that trick question trick you guys. Keep throwing questions like that until you get it. Just saying. What is this right here?
I'm good.
Just a plain old-fashioned AP.
I'm just gonna get the right.
That's a Mortise.
Insurance stuff?
After the second.
Yes, that is a
Is that
Mortise
good?
because we have a nice, beautiful, open, entire Mortise joint.
Those look so much prettier
I'll
than
wait
the.
10 seconds.
They do look prettier. I agree. I agree. All right. What is this?
Bilateral.
Which one?
AP?
AP,
What y'all think?
It's not, it's
It's
not
not
upright.
Right.
Upright.
upright, AP bilateral? Yeah.
Wait here.
Because we do these as weight bearing. So when you see bilateral, it's going to be weight bearing knees, so they have to be upright. Do we do them PA? We do not. We do them AP. So AP bilateral knees upright. Don't let that fool you guys. You know, read that question carefully. We only do these upright. We're not going to do these supine. Otherwise, it would not be weight bearing.
We should be doing it here.
What is that? The lateral leg. Very good. Very good. How about this? Ooh, that's pretty.
Lateral.
Good.
Just a plain old lateral knee. Lateral knee. Very good. A couple more here, guys. What is this?
Medial rotation.
And how we know it's a medial rotation?
Because the patella is
So they're not.
Patella towards the medial side. What
Open
else?
proximal pivot.
So this is the optimal view to open up which joint? Proximal tib fib joint. Very good. Excuse me. What is this? Intercondylar fossa or tunnel view. Very good. Last one. What is that? That's a really good question.
Okay, okay. Say with your chest.
That's a really good question.
That's a good question, John.
Bro, come on, bro.
Think about it.
Think-
Where's the
There's a
medial?
lateral.
Don't tell me, is it medial or lateral rotation?
It's medial.
What did y'all learn in lab? What's the only oblique that y'all are doing?
There's no such thing as a lateral.
Don't overthink it. What's the only oblique that we're doing, guys?
Medial.
Are you doing lateral rotations in lab? Do we even do lateral rotations? We do not. It's only ever medial rotation of the foot, guys. Only ever medial rotation. Very good. And that's that's it. That's the end of this very long chapter, guys.
Are we
Very
gonna
long
go
chapter.
over the, image, the little practice image?
Can we go over? Yes, we can go over that.
Aw.
So,
We can do the quiz.
oh yeah, well, a lot of y'all haven't taken it yet, so I
But
actually
then
don't
we
want to go
won't
over
have
it
it.
yet.
Well, what is the
do the
test?
What's up?
But what is the test?
What are we gonna do?
Right.
How are we
What is
supposed
it?
to go over it?
You want
Well,
us to
we'll
take
get,
your
I'll tell you what. Let's do our review. Everyone will have a chance to take it real quick, and then we can review it. It's only like 7 questions, so
Oh, we have to do it?
you don't have to, but I recommend you do.
Oh.
It's good practice.